How do I deal with anxious and overreactive parents? A while back, I received this comment. It said, "Hey Asha, could you make a video on parental anxiety and how it affects their children? My parents are very anxious and overreactive. They would scream at me for accidentally spilling a glass of water. A bad grade wasn't a bad grade to them, it was the end of the world. A mild embarrassment to me would be a complete loss of reputation for them. And every one of their reactions are extreme and exaggerated, and they seem to live in a world where everything is super dangerous. And when I tell them to stop panicking, they call me a naive idiot, which only further damages my self confidence. Now, I know the answer is to move out, but how do I deal with this when I am stuck with them? I'm in constant anxiety, and I'm always feeling threatened by everything, half expecting the people around me to go nuts like my parents do." Now, I'm going to split my answer into two separate parts. And the first one is the emotional groundwork that you need to do, while the second one are the physical action steps you need to take. Now, of course, the emotional groundwork is going to be the one that is more crucial and also a lot harder. Now, when you have parents that look down on you, they put you down, and no matter how hard you communicate with them, they just don't change, they don't want to listen to you, you have a journey ahead of you. Now, I'm going to share with you what the end of that journey is supposed to look like. It is where you deeply recognize how flawed their opinions are. It's when you stop looking for validation from them and you want to stop making them proud because you recognize how their worldview and perspectives are completely misguided or underdeveloped. But the journey to get there is incredibly tough, and it looks different for each and every one of us because we are wired to look for love and pride from them. So having to train your mind to stop that deeply ingrained habit is going to require a lot of effort on your part. Now, of course, a lot of people end up reaching this endpoint later in life. After having a ton of experiences, they look back and they're like, oh my goodness, it was so obvious. My parents were just lost in their own anxieties and traumas, and their opinions and overreactions were often just flat out wrong. I wish I could have known about all of this earlier. Now, I'm trying to help you get to that realization much earlier in life, but that requires you to let go of the parental guidance that you very much deserve and crave. It's forcing you to grow up much faster than you should, and it's scary and you are going to make mistakes. But that's okay. I know exactly how you're feeling, and I promise you that when you embark on this journey with intent, it will lead you to amazing places. The problem is when you don't do it with intent. You don't realize that you are reacting from a place of loss of parental guidance, and you become rebellious. You end up seeking validations from the wrong places. You end up in toxic workplaces, friendships, relationships. When you don't realize that you are reacting from a place of loss, you let that feeling consume you. You end up not caring about things, doing things just to feel good, not thinking about the bigger picture. Very often, it's this very unawareness of your need for parental guidance and support and love and care that make people act in a way that leads them to dark places that they can't get out of. So the very fact that you are doing this with intent and that you are aware of your loss and the feelings that you carry makes all the difference between you in your healthiest state and you in your unhealthiest state. Now, reaching this place of being able to detach yourself from parental guidance takes a lot of effort and time. It requires you digging into your parents' history, wondering what they went through, so that you can have an understanding of why they are the way they are. If you can't ask your parents directly about their history and experience, then you can ask family. And if that is not an option, then start paying attention to their behavior. Remember that when it comes to developing your inner emotional experience, it often requires understanding the people who affect it just as much as understanding how you feel and how you behave. So that's the emotional goal that I want you to strive for. How do I detach myself from my need of approval from my parents so that they can call me a naive idiot and it goes in 1 year and out 1 year? For some of my clients, it's when they actually realize that their parents never wanted to be parents ever and they're taking it out on them. For others, it's when they realize that their parents are lost in their own emotional trauma and abuse and experiences to the point where they don't see them as individual beings that ever needed parental support and guidance. The way you get there and the realizations that you end up having about your parents, they look very different for each and every one of us, and your goal is to find that out for yourself. Now let's move on to the physical action steps that you need to take. And it's actually just one thing that you need to do. Get into the habit of continuously putting yourself out of your comfort zone every single day, big or small, at work, at school, with your friends, whatever it is. Sign up for a new course, take up new responsibility, talk to the person that you are scared of talking to. Whatever it is, you need to prove to yourself every single day that you are capable of pushing yourself. And you don't need to succeed at everything you do. You just need to keep pushing. Because when you're living in an environment that constantly tells you that you're going to screw up and you can't do anything right, you're going to be terrified of trying out new things, and you're going to be freaking out when things go wrong and you make mistakes. So you need to do something that scares you every single day, big or small, and screw up as often as possible so that you can realize that not only are you capable, but mistakes are a part of life. And that's something that your parents should be teaching you, but because they are not able to do so, you have to teach that to yourself. So to sum it all up, embark on an emotional journey where you detach yourself from your need of approval from your parents. And number two, make sure to do something that scares you every single day, big or small, so that you can prove to yourself that you are capable and not let the anxieties of your parents seep into you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, if you want me to talk about anything specific, leave a comment below and I will catch you guys in the next video.